Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, today we're tackling a massive and frankly often overlooked question for anyone managing web infrastructure. What does premium white label WordPress support actually look like? When you look at industry leaders, like Viral Chili for example, it hits you. Choosing the right maintenance partner is literally the difference between an agency that's thriving, growing, and scaling versus one that's just constantly bogged down by site crashes and vulnerabilities. Our goal today? We're going to clearly define exactly what makes a world-class support provider and why settling for anything less is a massive, massive risk to your business. Let's get into it.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the high stakes, then move into the defense. So security, backups, and uptime. After that, we go on the offense with speed, reporting, and scalability. Then we'll break down white label versus regular support, and finally wrap up with how to actually evaluate your support partner.
All right, Section 1, the high stakes, the real cost of poor maintenance.
13,000. Just let that number sink in for a second. 13,000 WordPress sites are hacked every single day globally. And you know what the truly terrifying part is? So many of those sites completely lack proper security or backup strategies to actually recover. We're not talking about some rare anomaly here. This is a daily, relentless wave of attacks. You absolutely have to be prepared. Because when a hack or even just a severe server crash takes a site offline, the financial stakes are astronomical. Depending on the industry, a single minute of downtime can cost a business anywhere from $9,000 to an unbelievable $500,000 per hour. I mean, it's basically like setting fire to a pile of cash every time the clock ticks. Downtime doesn't just bruise a brand's reputation, it actively burns revenue every single second a customer can't access that site. And the threat is only growing. We've seen a steep 34% climb in new vulnerabilities across WordPress plugins and themes just from 2023 to 2024, hitting nearly 8,000. 8,000! This creates undeniable urgency. The WordPress ecosystem is constantly evolving, right? So if your support provider isn't running daily security scans, honestly, your sites are just sitting ducks.
Which brings us to Section 2, the defense, security, backups, and uptime. A premium provider, again, think of an agency like Viral Chili, operates on three crucial defensive pillars: proactive security monitoring, guaranteed backup recovery, and 24/7 uptime monitoring. The magic word here is proactive. A true partner stops problems at the perimeter, long before they ever impact your clients. They don't just sit around waiting for things to break and then scramble to fix them.
So a really crucial differentiator is exactly how they handle updates. True proactive security and quality patching means taking standard patches or those scary zero-day vulnerabilities and testing them in a separate staging environment first to ensure compatibility. Only then do they deploy them to the live site, usually within 24 to 48 hours. The lazy providers out there? Well, they just wait and batch their updates maybe once a week, effectively leaving the front door wide open for days at a time.
Next up is your backup strategy. Look, having backups is great, but guaranteeing recovery is what actually matters at the end of the day. When you're speaking to potential providers, I challenge you to ask about these exact steps. Are they storing backups off-site? Do they maintain daily copies? Do they keep monthly archives? And most importantly, actually scratch that, this is the absolute deal breaker, do they regularly verify that the restorations actually work? If they're just holding data without testing it, you don't have an insurance policy, you just have a false sense of security.
Rounding out our defense is uptime. The very best providers will guarantee at least 99.5% uptime. And they aren't just checking the site, once an hour. They utilize automated tools that ping the site multiple times per minute. If a site goes down, boom, they're alerted instantly, and their incident response begins right that second.
Okay, moving on to Section 3, the offense: speed, reporting, and scalability.
So your offense is powered by three main features: performance optimization, transparent reporting, and support beyond basic maintenance. Because a truly great partner doesn't just protect a site, they actively help it grow. As your agency brings in more traffic, more functionality, or maybe some really complex e-commerce builds, your provider needs to handle those increasing demands seamlessly. No sudden price hikes, no massive technical bottlenecks, just smooth scaling.
Think about modern visitor expectations for a minute. Pages absolutely must load in 2 seconds or less, no exceptions. A slow website actively loses you customers. Quality providers hit this critical speed target by monitoring performance weekly. They're the ones in the trenches handling the image compression, the database cleanup, the caching configuration, and setting up content delivery networks. They should be deeply engaged with core web vitals to ensure that lightning-fast speed stays consistent.
All right, Section 4, white label versus regular support.
Basically, who owns the client?
So, with regular support, it's entirely customer-facing. Your client knows who the provider is and contacts them directly. But white label support, that operates completely behind a brick wall. A premium partner like Viral Chili remains totally invisible to the end user. This is a game changer because you get to offer their premium WordPress maintenance as your very own service. You keep complete ownership of the client relationship, while the real technical experts do all the heavy lifting behind the scenes.
Finally, Section 5, evaluating your support partner, making the right choice.
When you're making your choice, you have to look strictly past the glossy marketing claims and dive right into the fine print. Review those service agreements closely. What are their actual documented response times and revision limits? Request real-world agency references, because honestly, those conversations matter way more than sales copy. Check their backup retention policies, thoroughly audit their security protocols, and definitely evaluate exactly who their hosting partners are.
And of course, we've got to talk about financial expectations. Here's a pretty realistic pricing breakdown for you. For small business sites, expect to pay somewhere between $100 and $300 monthly. For larger or e-commerce sites, you're looking at $500 to $2,000 monthly. My absolute strongest advice here, get quotes from at least 3 different providers and compare exactly what's included. Please, do not just go for the cheapest option. I mean that sincerely. The cheapest option almost always delivers the lowest quality of protection, and that is going to cost you so much more in the long run.
Which leads me to leave you with this highly provocative question. If your biggest client's site went down right now, who is fixing it? Are you scrambling to figure it out yourself, or do you have a true, invisible technical partner like Viral Chili instantly handling it behind the scenes? Answering that honestly will definitely dictate your next step. Take a hard look at your current support strategy to ensure your long-term health and profitability. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.